Yeah, so let's see if we can make it through this episode without having to like bicker at each other. Like you're gonna win some kind of like movie trivia match on October 19th or something.
Go ahead and play the intro. Just play the intro. What's going on, guys? We are the Cinefanatics. Welcome to the Tagline. It's the show where the tagline is the title. My name is Chris Addams.
I'm Robert Addams. That's Miss Mute down there.
Oh, I did the thing. That happens on live streams. I did it. I'm Tori Rose.
She's been officially broken in.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the right
Yeah,
term?
you haven't done that since being a part of us now.
No,
that was your first time. Like I'm trying to talk. Yeah, wait till you start a show and you're talking for like 3 whole minutes, just elaborating on all the stuff that you're so happy to talk about, and then realizing that you were mute the whole time. You're like, I don't want to do the show anymore.
I did that on Twitch yesterday.
I'm trying to make sure my frog mushroom is on show. There we go.
There you go.
Mark.
Nailed it. Yeah, I did that on Twitch yesterday. My mic was not muted. I was like, well, it'd be really nice to have somebody in the chat right now to let me know that nobody could hear me. And then the whole thing just crapped out on me anyway. So technical difficulties are fun. But that's a stream before. This is this stream. This is the tagline, guys. And you know how this works. All y'all hanging out with us. If you want to get some questions or some comments in, streamlabs.com/cinefanatics. That's the place to do it, which we do have a Streamlab, and I'll hit that in just a second. But the other place you can support us as well is at patreon.com/cinefanatics. We do have some stuff to talk about there, but I want to hit this Streamlab up real quick before we talk about what's coming on Patreon that you need to be paying attention to here. It is from Commentating Nerd. He said, thanks to Robert for interacting with my horror movie makeup Twitter thread. One of the few. Also, you'll probably get to this, but what is each of your favorite What If episodes and what was least favorite? We will definitely get to that for sure.
Nerd, I didn't know that I didn't see that. I'll have to go look at it after on Twitter.
Yeah, he's got a Twitter thread, and then he's also been also posting them in the Discord. If you would also like to be a part of the Discord, hop on patreon.com/cinefanatics. At the $1 tier, you could be on our Discord and participating. Or what is it? Like you could also sub to you on Twitch. Gives you Discord access. I don't know. Whatever.
Yep.
Discord stuff.
Transition. Smooth.
I know. So he's had some like really good movie choices lately. Like I've been like really impressed by what he's tackling in this thread. So make sure y'all follow him. I guess on Twitter. I don't know his Twitter handle off the top of my head, but
Nerd's a connoisseur. He's a connoisseur.
He's a man of refined taste.
He's a man of refined taste.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Hellraiser.
Yeah. It is commentating in. Yeah. It's like sitting there talking about wanting to watch Hellraiser but not liking the gory stuff. I was like, whoa, you should like sit down and watch Hellraiser 2 with like the skinless Julia walking around all over the place.
Blip. I love gore.
No, thank you.
Yeah. It's just the downside. The downside is the more the Hellraiser movies go on, they do get gory, but they also get like really cheap and just terrible movies to watch. Just that will be.
Nothing says Happy Halloween like some Play-Doh intestines.
I mean, well, no, that was Evil Dead, but
yeah,
that was the low budget for the Evil Dead movies. So. That will very likely probably not be something that we'll tackle right away as far as like ranking the Hellraiser movies on the marquee.
That's like 3 years from now.
Yeah, maybe. But we could go ahead and plug the marquee coming up this Saturday. It is the marquee, Tears of Fears. It's going to be at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. We will be tier ranking the Dracula movies. With special guest William Bibbiani.
Bibs.
Oh God, why?
Tori is a little excited about this. I don't know why.
I love Bibs. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Anyway, so I reached out to Bibbs to see if he wanted to do this and like what he would suggest as like a topic of ranking. And he like immediately was like Dracula. We're like, cool. And then he like not only did he come up with Dracula, but then he just threw like a list of Dracula movies. And I'm like, okay, a lot of these I have seen, a lot of these I haven't seen, and a lot of these that I haven't seen I want to see. So time to crank them out, and this is gonna be a fun ranking.
Now, don't bury the lead here, because what needed to happen was he gave you a list of like 82 movies that you had to reduce down to like 10 to 15.
Yeah.
If it were up to me, I would just stay on with him for like 6 hours. We would be there. We would feel like, what else do you think?
Hey, Bibiani, this is your show now. You go ahead and host it. I'm just going to sit back and listen.
Here's the thing. In all honesty, that's what I feel like. That's what's gonna happen on that show. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get like the most like in depth and creative like reasons why a movie should be in one place or the other. Just that's what I feel like is going to happen on there, and I'm all for it. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm
sad that I'm not gonna be there for that. I have to work again.
So those of y'all that are fans of the movie trivia Schmodown, especially if you know how big of a horror fan Bibiani is, and also like the depths that he can get into when discussing movies that he's a big fan of, it's going to be some good conversation, some fun times this coming Saturday. So make sure y'all come back for that.
Yes, last Saturday was very fun with Vernon.
Yeah. Vernon was a blast to do.
2009 or whatever it was, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, I was gonna put a screenshot. I screenshotted it and I was gonna post it on the Twitters, but I forgot. It's really busy right now. So, anyways, what else did we have? We were talking about Patreon before.
Yeah, we were talking about Patreon before. So, I mean, we got a bunch of stuff coming up here. I'll say that. Oh Lord, we have to talk about this. Okay, fine. You're
the one who wanted to do it. Don't sit there and like say it like someone's forcing you, jackass.
Really, you just want the jackass out there like that's okay. Fine, whatever. Yeah. So if you're part of our Patreon at the $25 tier, we got a trivia night coming up where you can help us study for upcoming matches. That's going to be fun. You should probably definitely want to be a part of that, because who knows how that's going to turn out. But that's it's coming up on the 15th. We're doing the trivia night because of those of y'all who've been paying attention. Brad finally gave me what I wanted by way of Paul, PLD. Some of y'all know him as. Finally, about time they pay attention to me. He gave me what I wanted. So we've got a match coming up on the 19th. It is official. The two of us have to do trivia against each other. One of us will come out on top. So you're definitely going to want to be a part of the trivia hangout before that. It's on the 15th. That is going to be at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. So that is definitely something you're going to want to be a part of. On top of that, nope, you can stay quiet still. We are also going to have
custody of me.
Who wins custody?
So that's what I was actually going to suggest. How about a stipulation in this? Loser leaves the Cinefanatics.
I'm not doing that. That's dumb.
Okay, we won't do that.
You're taking things too far now. So the other thing is,
who asked for this.
Let me tell him the next thing. Jeez. The next thing is Tori's like freaking out down there. Like, what's happening?
I'm like the kid in the car when the parents are arguing. You're just in the backseat, like,
oh gosh,
trying to listen to the radio.
Tori's down there going, is this my fault somehow? Did I do this?
Eating your trail mix. Yeah.
No. So on the 22nd, Friday the 22nd, after the match, we are going to be doing the Fcl replay. Those of y'all who have been a part of this before, we are doing this typically at the $5 tier. This one is actually going to be public. So this will be live on YouTube that everybody can come hang out and join us at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. We're going to be doing a deep dive kind of behind the scenes of the match that we're going to be at each other's throat in. That may or may not be the correct phrasing, but I don't care. So that's going to be one that you want to come hang out. Now, the key to that is it's going to be public while we're live that night. So if you're not showing up live, you have to get on our $5 tier on our Patreon in order to see the replay of it. So either show up live and see it public, or hop on the Patreon and then you'll see it afterwards. Good Lord, Tori.
It's just a quote. They know it.
I love that quotes. This is a quote from the Schmodown. So those of y'all who might not know the reference, it's okay. It's hilarious.
I don't think you added enough context to that. Now people aren't going to check out the Schmodown ever.
They know.
Yeah, it's the Bibiani versus Mance fight.
Yeah. So anyway, those are things to put in your calendar. We'll probably talk about more about those as we get closer to it, especially the week of, because that'll be on Tuesday, and then we'll have a tagline, and then that Friday. So we'll definitely be reminding you guys every week leading up to it. So
it's gonna be a lot going on this month. So
yeah, on top of everything else that we have to do, we have to face each other in trivia.
Since this is Civil War, which one of you is Iron Man and which of you is Captain America?
Well, I've got Iron Man's goatee right now, so he's got the Nomad. He's got the Captain America Nomad goatee,
yeah.
beard. So
beard.
Oh yeah, when he shows up behind the train, like.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm painting myself as the bad guy here? I don't give a crap.
Iron Man isn't the bad guy in that one.
I guess it depends on who you ask.
I love it.
The Iron Man wasn't the bad guy in Civil War. Kind of.
They both had good viewpoints.
I mean, the only from the storyline, if you look at it, that Captain America, it was a Captain America movie. It was Captain America. Clearly, Robert is American. That's great. Thanks, Vernon. By the way, after we're done with this tonight, I'm going to go hang out with Vernon, maybe, and do a fan's view of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So we're going to watch, I guess we're going to watch Nightmare on Elm Street, the first original, and Freddy's Revenge, the second one. So that will be over on a fan's view channel. Vernon, feel free to plug or drop a link in there and stop talking about my ass.
Tori, does this mean we have to call you Underoos now? Because I don't know about that.
It also means that Michael Keaton was almost my dad-in-law, papa-in-law.
There's going to be some really, really weird and confusing feelings with that. I'm pretty certain. But I'm just curious.
This is awkward as Tom Holland and Michael Keaton in the car. I'll just be like.
But I am curious, what if that was to happen?
Tonight, we ask what is, what was, and what could be. But the most important question of all, what if we liked this episode?
Those transitions that I can't tell when you're doing.
It's a season finale.
Yeah, Tom Holland.
You did not build that up anymore. It's a season finale. We're not doing this again.
Yeah.
Well, until next season anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever.
So that was the thing. Like beforehand, we thought we still had like another couple episodes left or whatever. Like it was still building. We didn't know like it was the next week. Like, oh, okay, this is going to be the season finale. Okay. Yeah. So
I thought we had like 2 more episodes. I don't know. I heard there were 9 and I thought we were still like on 7. So
yeah. So the finale was today. Last night, depending on when you watched it.
Yes.
Depending on what dimension you're in.
Yeah. How did we feel about this one?
This episode kicked ass. I'll just flat out say that right off the top. Like, I loved this episode. It was great. There's a whole lot of stuff packed in it, and I was here for all of it. That's my general thoughts.
It didn't do as much for me as last week's episode, but I also am like an Infinity War girl over an Endgame girl. I like the prep, I like the chaos, I like the doom. So for this one, I was like, okay, we're like having to wrap things up really quickly. I did like there were some character moments in here that I thought were really cute. But yeah, overall, I would say it was an interesting end to the season because it did, introduce a villain last week that is the second to the last episode. So that was a bit jarring of like trying to care about the villain, but also it's so new to us. But overall, I would say like this was still one of the better episodes out of the season.
Yeah. So I get what they were doing with it, and like I like the idea. We like once we realized that this was going to be the focal point. I guess like by the beginning of the episode last week, we kind of had an idea that this is where it was going, and then also coupled when you look back that we haven't seen the clips of like this Gamora wearing Thanos's armor or whatever. We haven't had any of that yet. That it was still focusing on something like this. So I knew it was coming. For some reason, I like the storyline of it, but there's bits and pieces of this that I was like, I don't get. Like I don't get why did the Watcher choose Party Thor over regular Thor? I know, and me and my brother were talking about this when we weren't trying to choke each other out. We were talking about this, and well, I mean, actually, yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Bickering, squabbling, whatever brothers do. We were Cain enabling it all over the kitchen. I don't know. But but we were talking about this, and
it's got biblical on my ass.
Enabling it all over the kitchen counter.
We were talking about this, and he was pointing out, like, well, yeah, it may be like the Thor that we know from the MCU has probably already been destroyed by this Ultravision Tron thing, whatever they're calling it. I don't know.
Seems Ultron, yeah.
Okay, well, whatever. Well, we got like this other Doctor Strange is like Supreme Strange, which makes him sound like he should be coming with like sour cream and refried beans and pico de gallo. That would be delicious. But otherwise, there's no other name for this Super Ultron. So
yeah, it's just
anyways. Yeah, it's just the choices of who he picked to bring into the battle I thought was kind of weird.
Yeah, that is an interesting point. And yeah, like also like why weren't some characters brought in? Like he tells Tony Stark, like, no, not you. So it's like, okay. So I guess I can assume that it had to be a certain group of people for it to work. Like that Doctor Strange, like there's only one way this happens. Maybe it's just like their chemistry has to be right. But I also find it interesting that Killmonger gets brought in by the Watcher because he's still, you know, has that like vindictive belief system underneath him, which makes him really hard to trust. The whole time I was like, we're also going to put like that like Hitler guy in, like that's going to work out. I was like, I have a lot of skeptical things going on here, Watcher, with like your choices. And you know, it kind of addresses that, but yeah, I'm gonna guess it's like there's one way this works, and that's the team that works, and none of the other teams work. So,
yeah, I was gonna say like that's kind of along the lines that I'm thinking too. Is that there's something specific about these individuals, whether it is their personalities or how their power sets have been affected by the choices that were made in each of their universes. Like Party Thor might be a little more reckless than regular Thor. And maybe they needed somebody who's a little bit more reckless in order to catch Ultron off guard. You know, that's one way to, you know, think about it. Like Garth said down here, here's why he brought in Party Thor. Party Thor had an Ultron head, which the Watcher knew Killmonger would use. So the Watcher can see like everything, so he kind of knew what was going to go down and how it had to wrap up.
Interesting though that the Watcher, I mean, I guess this is a spoil kind of, but the Watcher doesn't directly help with the fight himself. And I think that's why the episode wasn't as high stakes for me as last week's. Last week's it's like he's like talking all of a sudden, and then Ultron's like, "What did you say to me?" And then they have like that Dragon Ball Z moment. And that was like my favorite moment of the whole series. And that, like, for some reason, the Watcher was like, "No, I'll sit out on this one."
Yeah, I like that. I like that last episode. He was like, "Time, space, reality, throwing hands."
Dragon Ball Z. On this week's episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I mean, this is why I thought we were going to get another episode, because it was going to be like one more episode of the Watcher going, ah.
Upset.
Yeah. I think it's primarily just that he's not supposed to be interfering, and he's already interfered, so he's trying not to continue to interfere, which is weird, because once you've already interfered, you've interfered, okay? once you said that curse word has been said. You can't take it back. You might as well just keep cussing, okay?
Don't.
Don't. Yeah. So he's already interfered once, but yet he still is like, I can't interfere. Well, you already did. Jackass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the name of the episode, isn't it? Is what if the Watcher broke his oath?
What if the Watcher was a jackass? Yeah, probably.
What if the Watcher actually did something?
You're like rocking the Pee Wee Herman like word of the day, and the word of the day is jackass.
Jackass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways.
Now I actually really enjoyed this because there was like a lot of really good like character moments that happened between some of these characters. I mean, especially with Captain Carter and like her interactions and stuff with, you know, what was going on. I liked a little bit with Star-Lord, T'Challa, and Killmonger. Just recognizing, hey, you're my cousin from another dimension.
So the Watcher was all like, I'm gonna beat you up, and then Ultron was like, no, and then they fought, and then the Watcher was like, oops, my bad, and then he got a bunch of Avengers, and then he just sat out.
Yeah, that was an accurate replay of exactly what happened. Yes, all done with the very threatening hair.
Yes, goth hair.
I do like it. I like what it set up at the end, and some of the more meaningful, like Watcher does something at the end of the episode was extremely meaningful and heartfelt. And if you think about it, there's a lot of really good implications of that, of what he did at the end of the episode. Again, not really gonna spoil it, but I think overall, like the entire season of What If was pretty good. I wasn't expecting them to be like interconnected at all, and they ended up interconnecting him and making a pretty decent story out of it. It was very interesting and just really helped Marvel continue to push that multiverse storyline. By now, if you're not familiar with the multiverse and Marvel anything, you were asleep the whole time or dead or something. But
I feel like the writing execs or whatever were like, how do we get the public to understand the multiverse? Put it in everything for 5 years, and then they'll have to.
Well,
like
so
every
what's
show,
good about
every movie, every end credit scene, get it going.
What's good about this is that we're introducing a little bit with like WandaVision and the whole like Nexus stuff. We're introducing, you know, multiverse stuff with Loki. We're also doing multiverse stuff with What If. So now what's going to happen is everybody who skipped the Disney Plus stuff is going to go into movies like Spider-Man No Way Home or Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. They're going to be completely caught off guard. Like, what's this multiverse thing that's happening here? And everybody who watched the Disney Plus stuff, who's going to the theater with them, can sit there and explain it to them before the movie starts.
Or we're just going to be sitting there tired of hearing about the multiverse again. Mm-hmm. Also, keep in mind, they also touched upon it in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So,
well, and No Way Home is supposedly also
yeah
doing it. But I was going to ask you, with what the Watcher does at the end of this episode, do you think that has implications for the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the movies?
To some degree, like, you talking about just his general like involvement or
his end decision with the one character?
I don't think
Real quick, let's, guys, if you haven't seen it, we're going to touch a little bit of spoilers here because I actually did want to bring this up. So we're going to
go run away, go drink some apple cider.
I'll do a wild wave movement when we're done talking about spoilers. So there you go. Anyway, so yeah, his decision with Black Widow. I actually didn't realize this when watching the episode, but I figured it out earlier today as I was watching some like people like reacting to the episode and everything, because I like to do that. I'm a weirdo. But one of the things was that they actually touched back on where he left Black Widow was one of the earlier episodes that they didn't actually do anything with through, you know, this whole team up thing at the end, which was the episode where Hank Pym killed like all the Avengers. Gotcha. So I think that was the episode that was right before Doctor Strange. So I don't know if you've actually gone back and watched any of
I did see that one. Okay. Yeah, like the murder mystery. Yeah. So
that's the episode where everybody but like Captain America and Captain Marvel were killed off by Hank Pym. So like even Black Widow in that universe died. So what Watcher did was took her out of the universe that she was in, where she was literally the only person left, and then dropped her back into that universe, which is why you saw like Loki taking over, because he was going to take over at the end of that episode. And that's why you also saw Captain America and Captain Marvel, because they were the only two other heroes who were there. So I thought, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that episode. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I was just curious because it does kind of give them an option to bring back characters in the movies if they had the Watcher get involved, because now they're like, well, we did it, we showed you how it can happen, so if a Black Widow shows up, you know how.
I think you've still got the situation where the Watcher, even in the comics, he's only ever intervened in very specific and particular moments. He doesn't just intervene for poops and giggles. He's like, if there's a serious situation like what we saw in What If, then he'll intervene, but otherwise he usually stays out of it. So I don't think I mean, especially because we're talking about like actor contracts and stuff, and we'll actually even kind of get into a little bit of this later on, but we're not seeing Scarlett Johansson coming back to the MCU. You know, the Watcher's not going to pull a Black Widow from another universe and drop her into the MCU again. Black Widow's done in the MCU. So, yeah.
Thinking about
one thing I did like about this one is, did y'all happen to notice this was the only What If episode that had Tony Stark in it where he didn't die by the end of the episode?
Yeah, they didn't
he was
even let
still
him
alive. Yeah, he didn't even fight, but I mean, technically he was still alive, so.
Yeah, I like that Watcher is like, not you, Stark. I want Gamora.
Yeah.
Which, here's the thing about that. I'm predicting that that's actually, because we didn't see anything about those two at all in this entire season. I'm predicting that that's an episode that they're actually going to do next season. They're just planning ahead and pulling from an alternate dimension that we haven't even visited yet.
Yeah, because they referred to Gamora as like the last survivor of Xandar, the destroyer of Thanos. Like, I want to see that. I want to see, why is she the last survivor of Xandar? Was this when Ronan was trying to attack Xandar in like the 2014 Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, she just happened to be out of all the Nova Corps, she was the one person that survived, and then she killed Thanos? Like, how does she do that? That doesn't sound easy.
Let her get her bad dad revenge.
Or was it last survivor of Sakaar?
Yeah, it was Sakaar.
Okay, well then, why was she on Sakaar? What was she doing there?
I don't know, but that Sakarian armor for Tony was really cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because it was like I'm trying to ignore part of that.
Hi, Amber.
Love you, Amber. Yeah, I guess she fought in the arena. Yeah. His armor looked like a Hulkbuster just made up of like the scrap, which was funny because if y'all remember before What If even started, there was like the toys that came out for this. There was a Lego set where you build that Iron Man armor that he has in like this one shot in this one episode. That Lego set has been out since before What If started. We finally saw where that Lego set came from.
Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps.
And now you can build it on the floor of your living room on carpet.
And hopefully it does get built and you don't step on the pieces barefoot.
Ow. Yeah. Anyways.
There's one thing I'm sad. We didn't see, we saw it in like trailers and stuff, but wasn't there a moment where like there was supposed to be like a van driving around and Thor was like supposed to be hanging out the window, like taking out Ultron bots with the hammer while it was like doing a drift or something? Like, where was that at? I missed that.
I don't remember seeing
there were some things that were made for season 2 that they just pushed. Like they thought it was going to be season 1 and they were like, no, we're going to do season 2.
Or am I having like a fever dream, or that was like a car commercial or something using What If? Because I definitely have done that.
McDonald's.
Yeah. I want that Happy Meal toy. The brown panel van, Tokyo drifting all over the city street while Thor's knocking robot fools out with his hammer. That'd be awesome.
Also,
make it remote control.
I have been in JFK on the floor. Say hi to the JFK floor for me.
So I want to go back. So we want to say that's it for the spoiler talk.
Yeah.
So
that was like a penguin dance you just did.
So real quick before we move off of the topic of what if, let's go back to Commentating Nerd's question. What was your favorite? What was your least favorite?
My favorite was definitely last week's. My least favorite would probably be the zombie episode for me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Chris?
My favorite is... Oh, what did I think? Was it this episode? I'm still like trying to decide between this episode, the episode before it, and the Doctor Strange episode. I think to be different, and just because of the emotional like value of it, I'll say the Doctor Strange episode is probably my favorite. And then my least favorite is the stupid friggin' Party Thor episode. That was so dumb. I hated it.
Oh, so
yeah.
fun.
Hated it.
So fun.
I'm a curmudgeon with this show, I guess. I hated the Party Thor episode.
Yeah, everything else in life, you're like, oh, like, look on the bright side. Party Thor, you're like, why is he partying?
Such a positive beam of light, except for Party Thor. I'm like, stupid ass. He needs to stop partying.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably my favorite. My favorite is either going to be the Doctor Strange episode, that if he lost his heart instead of his hands. I'd say it's torn between that or the Hank Pym episode, though. What if the world lost its mightiest heroes? Those I think were my two favorites. Yeah, I would say probably my least favorite was probably the Party Thor. Closely followed by the What If Zombies. I really wanted to like a Marvel Zombies episode. I had every intention of loving that episode, and just
it just wasn't horror enough.
It was, yeah. For some reason, just the storyline was just way too simple, and it didn't do what I was wanting it to do. You have the whole MCU just like actually do something with the entire episode, the whole MCU, instead of one like small like little storyline that was over like in 15 minutes pretty much.
What if we did a zombie apocalypse storyline in a cartoon? That's essentially what it was. Top and least favorite is Party. Yeah, T'Challa, Star-Lord, and Strange are the first part of the episode. Were my next favorites. Yeah.
Y'all,
Yep.
I have to go back and watch the Star-Lord episode. I hadn't seen that one yet. Y'all with the Party Thor.
It
Work
was
on
just-
yourselves. He's doing good.
It was
You want
just
the press
one.
Thor? You want Thor playing video games like me all day?
Yeah, I want to see him take out. I wanted to see a what if Thor took out New Master 69. That's what I wanted to see. Like he actually just like takes off with his hammer, or no, by that time he had the axe. Takes off with the axe, and goes over and takes out New Master 69.
The hammer pulled you off.
God.
Ass Master 69.
Ass Master 69. Nice. Anyways.
Wait, we found out who New Master 69 was, though.
Yeah, that was in they did, what was it, a commercial or whatever? There was a commercial with
Was it an
Korg,
Xbox
I think
commercial?
something like that, yeah.
Or a PlayStation or something like that. Yeah, it was the dude who worked in the Apple store in Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
who was like specimen or whatever to
Amber
Captain
gets
That's
America.
a weird thing. Like, who actually have y'all ever heard of someone talking like that? Just like, specimen. Like,
I mean,
no.
Have you ever watched Queer Eye for the Straight Guy?
No.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Anyway,
I've never heard someone just refer to another person as specimen. And that's it. Like, not even like a lead up, like, you're a specimen or you're a fine specimen of a person.
I mean,
just straight up just look at it and go, specimen.
Look, just because no one's ever said it to you doesn't mean no one ever says it.
I mean, that's true. That's true. It's possible. I just need everyone in the chat needs to be calling me specimen, I guess. Little Robbie needs a huggle. No.
Oh, he needs a
I'll
huggle.
I'll take a huggle, but the rest of that, no.
He needs a huggle. Anyway, let's get off What If.
Well, that was
Let's go
easy
on
to do.
All right, we're done with What If, guys. All right, so moving on.
What movies have y'all seen this past week besides Venom?
I got nothing really. I'm just kind of rewatching the Ocean's movies for no reason at all. I just decided to. So I made it through 11 and 12. So yeah, that's all I got to add to that.
Wait, you saw a movie on Friday?
What did I say?
We're gonna watch along.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good job, Tori.
See, what would we do without her, guys?
Yeah,
I keep this train on the tracks.
The glue that's holding us together.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help that this train on the tracks is heading to Busan. That's just beside the point. But I mean,
it's the Polar Express. We're on the ice.
Oh, okay. Well,
there's a hot cocoa cart coming and everything.
Yeah.
It's Halloween. Make the train to Busan joke. We'll do the train to Polar whatever in December.
Santa.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, so Friday we did the Patreon watch along of Beetlejuice, and that was his first time ever seeing that movie.
Yeah, it was lovely.
So it was a cute little movie, isn't it?
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can talk about that because I watched it too. That's one of my favorites. Tim Burton's. It's not my favorite. My favorite would be Corpse Bride, but I think it's just so fun, like to watch during Halloween, even in the background now. Like Chris, now that you've seen it, just like the soundtrack, you know, like Michael Keaton being his peak freak self. Winona Ryder, like at one of her peaks, honestly, and everyone in that movie understood the assignment. So if you haven't seen Beetlejuice, have a movie night and watch Beetlejuice.
I mean, you can join our Patreon tier. We got that. You can go back and watch it with us, technically.
You guys go back and watch it with us, please.
There you go.
Yeah, we go. So Amber saying that they watched Ready or Not on the Off the Rails network.
Off the Wales.
I can't talk anymore.
You watching Off the Wales?
Off the whales, the beluga whales.
Yeah. I realize horror movies are actually comedies if you watch them with Chris Clark, Maxwell, and Kristen Smith. Yeah, that is a nice group of people to watch horror movies with. So, I know. What was it last week? I joined Vernon over on the Fans View. We did Jack Frost. Oh my God, we did, and not the Michael Keaton Jack Frost. We did the horror movie Killer Snowman Jack Frost. Wow, what a piece of trash movie that was. And I had a huge blast making fun of it all over the place. Well, which it was very easy to do. So we got Tim Franco here saying he's going to watch VHS 94. I need to catch back up on the VHS series. I think I watched the first one and it was pretty good, but I need to watch the rest of them. So
I haven't seen any of them.
They're anthology movies. So like Creep Show or Twilight Zone.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're like that kind of movies.
Gotcha.
My favorite thing about this month right now is that everyone's all like, I watched this horror movie and I watched that horror movie. And I'm over here like, I'm watching the Ocean's movies again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, is Michael Keaton Jack Frost?
There's a family-friendly Jack Frost that came out in 98, and then there's the horror Jack Frost that came out in 97. Michael Keaton was in the family-friendly one that came out in 98.
I got to see Jack Frost.
That was the Michael Keaton. The Michael Keaton one is the one where he's in like a jazz band or whatever. He gets killed and his spirit goes into his like son's snowman, and then he becomes the fun holly jolly snowman that can like throw snowballs real quick, and it was really funny.
Yes.
It was actually really cute.
This is a truth fact.
Chris always does what he wants. I'm gonna have you react to Klaus during Christmas time though.
I'm down. I'm gonna watch it.
So I suggested to him and see Tori. I don't know if you're familiar with this movie. Anyone in the chat? Like I'm pretty sure Tim Franco's at least familiar with this. I was suggesting that when we get closer to Christmas, we should do Better Watch Out.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
And if anyone who's watched it, if y'all seen it, don't like spoil anything because that was a good movie that you don't want spoiled for you. But I was suggesting that one for him to watch as well, because I don't remember it being like gory at all. It was just really playful and had like a Home Alone element to it, like a Home Alone Christmas horror type movie. But not really even horror. It's more of like a suspense type of movie, I would say. So yeah. Better Watch Out was good. Yeah.
It sounds like what's the visual effects guys on YouTube? They did the R-rated.
Corridor.
Corridor Crew did the What If Home Alone was R-rated.
That was actually more gory than this movie.
And that wasn't even really wasn't really gory. It was just a thing. So
as for me, for new movies that I watched over this past week, nice
rare exploits.
So you might see a theme to some of these movies other than Venom 2 and Jack Frost. I also watched Dracula Untold. Was it Tomb of Dracula, which is also known as, what was it called? Dracula Sovereign of the Damned. It's an animated cartoon based off of the Tomb of Dracula comics. I watched Blackula and the 1979 Dracula. So y'all might see a reason for watching that. This coming Saturday, we're going to be talking about Dracula movies with William Bibbiani. It's going to be this coming Saturday. Yeah, there she goes again.
God, my ears.
Those of y'all wearing earbuds, we apologize. But
as soon as Bibbiani comes on the screen, I'm going to make that sound.
That's going to be at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern this coming Saturday. We are ranking Dracula movies, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And yes, the what was it? Monster Squad will be a part of that.
Garth, can you time yourself out, please?
This is the motto of the Rolex store. That's great.
Oh.
So all of my thoughts, feelings, opinions about those Dracula movies, I will be talking about on the marquee this coming Saturday. So I'm not going to dive into like my thoughts on them right now.
Yes.
Yep. But anyways, Tori, did you watch anything new?
I mean, Beetlejuice Friday was old for me. No, I am not going to go into it, but I've been playing more video games this week and getting very stuck into them. I'm watching the Dracula movies this coming week for Saturday. So no, I've been, I took 2 sick days today and yesterday, so I probably should have watched movies, but I hooked up my Xbox for the first time in a year and I've just been playing Fallout 4. So.
Okay. Well, that being said, if Tori's employers happen to be watching this right now, this is not actually Tori. The Tori that works for you is sick in bed in her room, trying to get better so she could be a productive member of your work staff again. This is this is Rory Toes that's joining us tonight. So. It's not your Tori. Please.
That's my cam girl.
I just misspelled the at the very bottom. I misspelled her name and her Twitter and everything. It's not really Tori. It's okay.
Rory Toes is absolutely my cam girl name.
You can find her at Rory X Toes on Twitter.
You said a cam girl and it's Rory X Toes. I'm expecting this is a channel of all like feet. Like your biggest subscriber is going to be Quentin Tarantino at this point.
That's 100% a cam girl name. I'm guessing.
So come watch Rory X Toes if you're interested in foot stuff.
Specifically
on there. Toes.
Specifically toes.
What if I made more money from my toes than we did all together?
Yeah, no, I have stories for you that I can tell you off camera.
So you sell toe picks?
No, just never mind.
Yeah. So on that note,
ladies and gentlemen,
good evening. This is what's happening in your world tonight.
We apologize for the interruption.
Back to you.
I really wish that I could get to the clip quicker. So I'm like, yeah, so where is it?
Toes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so about toes, news.
How's that box office looking?
Guys, the box office has changed finally after the last few weeks. Our old buddy whose movie was going to flop. It's just flopped so hard.
It finally flopped.
It finally dived down to number 3
after one whole month. It was a flop because otherwise it would stay number 1 throughout the next 2-3 months. But after one month of being number 1, it flopped. There you go. There's your proof.
It flopped its way down to number 3. Yeah. Can you guys guess what number 1 is?
Venom.
No,
Venom,
okay.
Venom,
Cool.
Venom.
No doubt. Yes. Venom, Let There Be Carnage busted out this weekend with a 90 million taken, which is the highest grossing weekend number so far for this entire year. And I'm pretty sure it's the highest grossing number for an opening weekend since before the pandemic started. So
nothing quite like a pandemic to make a movie about a parasite number 1 at the box office.
If you want to see a review for Venom, check out our YouTube channel. It's on there. Thank you.
Expertly plugged there, Rory. Sorry. Not Tori.
You're such a good wing guy. You're like, I swear it's not her, Tori. I mean Rory. I mean Tori. Tori is not Tori.
Where's I'm not gonna do this. It takes too long. Anyway, so yeah, Venom Let There Be Carnage. That is number 1. That is only going to be number 1 this weekend. This last weekend, I don't think it's going to stay number 1. That's the work.
I have a feeling that Lamb movie's going to knock it out easily.
I mean, maybe.
If
maybe
Lamb takes the box office, guys,
that'll be surprising. It'll be surprising.
If Lamb takes the box office, so you can imagine that we've got a James Bond movie finally coming out this weekend, and then this A24 horror movie that involves sheep of some sort. If that wins the box office for the weekend, everyone's going to have to re-question their life choices.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I do think Bond will get number 1.
And I meant to bring it. Jeremy. No Lamb. I do want to talk about the Shang-Chi thing with Venom. Chris, if you were gonna mention it, it is doing box office wise better than Venom, or Venom is doing better box office wise than Shang-Chi, the other way around. And I was talking about it. I put in a comment on SAN Live about my theory why, and I do think it's a general audience thing. I think that I have a lot of friends my age who like Marvel movies and really want to go see Shang-Chi, and they're all into it, but they didn't go into the theaters to see it because, one, they have Disney Plus and they're like, it's just going to be put on there, isn't it? So they're going to wait. Or 2, they feel like they have to catch up. They don't follow the trailers really. They don't follow what's going on. So they'll ask me hey, do I have to have watched everything? Do I have to have watched the TV shows? And I feel like a lot of people have gotten caught up in that, and it just prevented them from going. Also, pandemic time, a couple of months is a big difference. So, Shang-Chi was released how long ago now?
A month ago.
Yeah, so even though it's only been a month, I feel like it's still that was when schools were getting back into school, I guess. And so I do feel if people want to say, oh, Shang-Chi bombed, Venom did better, I don't really think that that's a valid comparison. I think it's just different. I mean, Shang-Chi quality-wise, at least for me, is astronomically better than Venom too. So
yeah. And then Nerd actually here in the chat actually brings up what I was going to say. It's Venom Let There Be Carnage is not going to pass Shang-Chi's total gross. There's going to be a huge drop off for it going into this next week because, again, Bond is coming out, No Time to Die. And then the rest of this month is just completely stacked. That drop off is going to be more than 50% easy.
The 10 toe rings. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Jeremy Miller's actually, this is what I was thinking. What are we doing?
I'm not touching anything.
Venom and Carnage. So Venom and Carnage are more Venom is already a known property since he had the first movie and also whatever that Topher Grace abomination was and back in 2007 with Spider-Man 3. Venom is more well known. Shang-Chi was pretty much new, even though Shang-Chi had been in the comics a lot longer than Venom. Just general audiences didn't know who Shang-Chi was unless you knew the comic book, while Venom was more well known. I don't think Shang-Chi has never been in any other form of media other than comic books, I believe. Right. I don't believe he's ever in a cartoon or...
Yeah, because he's still a fairly new character within Marvel, right? Like
he came out back in the 70s, I believe.
Okay, never mind. He's not new. So apparently
Venom came out in the 90s.
Well, there you go. Chris, you don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so yeah, I mean so the thing is with Venom versus Shang-Chi, like, yeah, Venom had a much larger box office this weekend. Mm-hmm. But again, you know, Shang-Chi was #1 for almost an entire month here. Venom is about to go up against a new James Bond movie and every other movie that's coming out this month. Things gonna be gone next week. It's not gonna gross more than Shang-Chi. Total box office for sure.
Nerd, I can do it for you. Oh, Eddie, I can't eat chicken. I'm a
hardy. I'm Woody.
You're nothing without me.
That's why I was wondering where you were for like most of while I was twitching yesterday, because I was like fighting Bowser. I was like, we really need Tori's Bowser impression right now.
My voice acting.
Yeah. We just need to get a soundbite, and then like you get the that Stream Deck thing, plug it into your computer, and just have that as a soundbite. You can just push a button, and all of a sudden, hardy.
That'd be a good follow little thingy. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Hire me for audio clips.
Do it.
Hardy.
Stop it. I'm trying to get the rest of the box office. Calm down. God, I have to wrangle you two. So #2 in the box office this week.
Just don't grab us by our toes. Just nothing good will happen from that.
Oh, God. Okay, that's it. #2 this week in the box office was The Addams Family. It's not our family, and I'm just getting that out of the way real quick because I'm tired of hearing that. But The Addams Family 2 apparently is at #2 this week. I'll let you guys come back on, but y'all need to behave. What are you doing?
That's how you pin to toe. That's how you grab our toes.
Oh, God. Okay. So, yeah, Addams Family 2, new release this week, actually topped Shang-Chi also. And that's because, you know, we got a new release for a family movie. So, you know, families are still going out to theaters right now, and they're trying to get some counter programming in for Venom and whatnot.
Families still exist?
Do what?
Families still exist?
Families still, yeah. Do people still have families? I guess. That's something to do. Oh.
Good for them.
Yeah. Stop it. So then #3 is Shang-Chi. As I said before. #4, Many Saints of Newark. That is a new release this week also. Now that one is special because, one, that's a prequel to the Sopranos TV show, but also it is available on HBO Max. So that once again is showing that maybe now at this point that HBO Max deal, whereas it might have been great at the beginning when they first started, is not coming out so hot right now in terms of box office numbers for them.
Ooh, and Denis Villeneuve is not going to like that here in a couple of weeks.
I think Dune might be the exception to this. I have a feeling because there's a lot of hype building around Dune, and not even just in our circles of like film talk and whatnot. I think that one is actually getting some hype, but we'll see. That's going to be fun to talk about when that comes through.
I have two things. One, Chris, can you say Newark for me again?
Oh God, no.
It's Newark. Saints of Newark. Newark.
From the South. Stop it.
I've been in Newark. 2, I haven't heard, again, not to say that my friends are like representative of my age group, but you know, I am 23, not to bring up my age, but like in terms of Gen Z, like college age students, I really haven't heard anyone in my bubble talking about Dune. So that has me kind of concerned because I do think they want college kids to go see this. I think that's why they did Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little concerned. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I want to go see it. I'll be seeing it, but I haven't heard any of my friends even like my nerdier friends who go and see Marvel and everything, like I haven't heard them talking about it. If it gets good reviews and it like gets a good opening night and people are freaking out about it, then it might change. But for right now, I don't know if I asked, if I call up my friend and I said, "Hey, do you want to go see Dune?" I have a feeling they'd be like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
A lot of us, like, I don't have cable. My friends don't have cable. If it's not being advertised on YouTube or something or on social media, they're not really going to be interested. So I'm a little worried in that sense. I don't know how big of an audience it'll have in like older demographics because I have a feeling they're aiming for college age, like, or they're relying on it a lot. So I'm a little uneasy going into it, but
to some degree, they're definitely
maybe it'll do well.
They're definitely trying to pull it in with some of that casting for sure. I don't know if like I wouldn't classify Denis Villeneuve as the type of director that aims for like college age, but at least for the casting, I think you're right there with that. And so, I mean, it remains to be seen. I think you're right in that first of all, it is gonna get a big opening weekend. It's 100% gonna get like a number one for that weekend. All of film Twitter and all of that's gonna go out to the theater for that 100%. It's already doing like killer numbers overseas and whatnot for the markets that it is already open. And here I think it's going to do well. And I think once the general reviews for like everybody going to see it opening weekend starts coming through, then I think maybe some of your friends who don't necessarily know much about it right now, like you said, will probably be like oh, okay, I guess I'll go check that out. Good Lord. Garth.
Robert's
Anything else in the box office?
Yeah, so at number 5, Dear Evan Hansen fell from number 2 last week to that number 5
big shot.
spot. Yeah, I mean that's a 66% drop off right there.
And by shock, I meant it didn't fall to number 10.
Well, number 6 is Free Guy. That's still in there. Number 7, Candyman's still in there. Number 8, Jungle Cruise is still in the top 10. So that's actually pretty huge. That's been in there for a while now.
Is the movie we all know and care about still in it?
So number 9 is Chalmera Putt 3, which sounds, I don't know what movie this is. This is just opened up too.
Now you're just getting way too crazy on how you pronounce Malignant.
Yeah, exactly. Malignant's not in the top 10.
A Paw Patrol. He's like, what is this Paw Patrol movie?
Paw Patron. That doesn't seem right for kids.
Paw Patron.
That's something different. And then number 10 is the Jesus Music, which looks like a Christian documentary. So that's
the Jesus Music.
Yes. So that rounds out your top 10. No, Paw Patrol is not in the top 10 anymore. Get that crap out of here. Goodbye, Paw Patrol. Stop haunting me on social media.
By the Jesus Music.
Yes. And Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah.
Yep. So
the abbreviation or whatever is DEH.
DEH. Which is about what it sounds like everyone feels about the movie. It's just DEH.
DEH. Not even enough to give it a meh. It's just a DEH. So there's your box office, y'all. I expect that to change with both. Lamb will definitely end up in the top 10 100%, but I believe No Time to Die will be number 1.
I
want Lamb to take off.
What was this comment earlier? I thought this was hilarious. So Jeremy Miller was saying that we have sheep and pig movie, lamb and sheep, pig movies. I was like, what if all of these movies like all come together and they're all leading to the giant crossover of George Orwell's Animal Farm, which is also being directed by Andy Serkis? Like, that would be fantastic, especially if they get like the Pink Floyd Animals album to be the soundtrack for the movie. That would be.
Did you have to read Animal Farm in high school?
I don't think we did. But again, I referenced the Pink Floyd album Animals, which is pretty much a musical version of Animal Farm. So I feel like that's good enough. I don't have to read the book. I can just listen to that album again.
Fair.
I like to think that it's not Andy Serkis who's going to direct that, even though he's been good with like the CGI stuff. I think Denis Villeneuve was actually going to do that one too. It's actually the sequel to Dune.
Yeah. Yes, there is an Animal Farm movie coming out from Andy Serkis. Yep.
I mean, yeah, there is that, but so there's a different one because Andy Serkis likes to do movies that other people are doing as well. It seems Jungle Book, and Denis Villeneuve is also going to do Animal Farm, and it's going to have sandworms in it.
Yeah.
Dune is the prep for Pig and Lamb.
Denis Villeneuve's Animal Farm is on Arrakis, and it's just all sandworms.
Yep. That's exactly what's
imagine
happening.
Ari Aster's Animal Farm.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. Like, this pig is missing a head. There must be some meaning behind it. Some pagan, like, cult is taking over our farm.
This pig is half man. The pigs just start getting
We should stick that lamb inside the body of a bear.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, if you have any other comments or anything you want to add to any of the nonsense, you can go streamlabs.com/cinefanatics. That's a great place to insert some randomness too. Just be a part of the who knows what's happening anymore. I don't know.
It's man bear pig. I'm totally serial.
Oh my gosh.
That's what it's all building toward.
The man bear pig. Yeah.
Bear. We have a pig movie. We probably have a movie named Man that I don't know about.
Guest starring a cameo by the puppy monkey baby.
Yes.
Oh, God. Puppy monkey baby.
I need you to know I just Googled man movies, and the first movie that comes up is Venom. It's like movies about men. Venom.
That it was. It was about men.
Oh, I get it. It's toxic masculinity. Nailed it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a couple news stories here. Actually, literally, when I say a couple, I do mean two. That's why we were able to have some fun up to this point, because there's only a few news stories to cover this week. You know, besides the usual, like, hey, so-and-so was casted in this and that. And we usually don't cover a lot of those because there's so much of that, and there's only so much opinion you can have about stuff like that. But the first news story we got is that, guys, Disney and Scarlett Johansson finally settled their lawsuit, their whole ordeal. Scarlett Johansson is on record saying that she is satisfied with the solution that they came to, and she's looking forward to working with Disney in the future. So that's kind of a cool thing. I mean, that it's settled enough that both parties are able to work with each other again. What are you laughing at?
I just realized, so that just happened. Could you imagine like any potential jokes that are going to be happening during Weekend Update this weekend on Saturday Night Live?
Oh, yeah.
One can only hope.
Those of y'all who don't know, Colin Jost is married to Scarlett Johansson. So this is going to be a pretty big thing of news. I could just see Michael Che's like, so when are you inviting me over for like steaks and like champagne or whatever?
Just to go back to, the FCL, which of you is Scarlett Johansson and which of you is Disney?
Tori, you were doing
Chris
so well
is
here.
Scarlett because he's the one who was like, nom, 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 nom. And then Robert was just like, okay.
You do not get on my bad side too now, okay? Like, we're doing so well here. We're keeping the show on track, and you're going to bring that up.
Barely.
If this show is not on track, if it's barely on track, it's your fault.
I'm not the one who started the stuff on the FCL, and now we're bringing it back up. Thanks, Rory. So...
Whatever. Look, we got a Streamlab, guys. We got a Streamlab in from Amber. She sent in a Streamlab. She said, I don't know. I'm bored. Maybe this will get PJ to baggage claim faster. Come on, JetBlue.
Come on, PJ. Come on, JetBlue.
Come on, PJ. Get to baggage claim faster. Can you hear us? I don't know.
I've never flown on JetBlue, to be honest with you.
You're going to behave.
It's actually nice.
Okay. So, anyway. How do we feel about this whole thing? I mean, I know that Scarlett Johansson's you said earlier she's got a movie coming up with Disney anyway, and maybe now that's back on track.
Yeah.
I think she was right to do it. I'm glad it got finalized. I think the SEN Live, they were talking about it. Let's see if you've ever heard of the Schmodown. And they made a good point of like, if she doesn't do it, then people who are way below her won't have the same like track to follow to do that kind of thing. So it's like, yeah, like she's already wealthy, probably has 1 million houses, blah blah blah. But it's like there are people below her. There are people who are writers, are stunt people, are just like smaller than Scarlett Johansson, who also probably ran into the same issue with Disney, because if it happened to Scarlett Johansson,
I'm smaller than Scarlett Johansson.
You're smaller than Scarlett Johansson.
Well, not physically, but I mean, I'm a big guy.
I am spiritually smaller than Scarlett Johansson. But so like if someone way, below her, which is pretty much everyone, now has kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Precedence.
Yeah, the precedence for being able to say, hey, like you said you were going to pay me. I know the pandemic happened, but we signed a contract and I can't just have my pay cut suddenly when that's my income. And I have a family or I don't, and I just need the money. I think that's the bigger point here.
The thing would have been a lot easier if they had just actually stopped and thought about, hey, contracts can be renegotiated when new information is available, like the entire world is getting locked down and no one's going to the movie theater. Mm-hmm. The fact that they didn't do that, like, I'm curious as to why. Is there like a justifiable reason as to why they didn't renegotiate that contract? Did Disney just think they could get away with it?
Yes.
Or what?
So that's the way these typically work. And I remember, like, it used to be I would hear if someone was suing another person, they're like, oh, you did something wrong, or oh, that person wants money. But to Rory's point here, that this is to set up that precedent so other people aren't like thrown off or anything by this. Like now they know that when negotiating these contracts from the very beginning, we now have to include something like having to go to streaming when you're in the middle of a pandemic. This is setting up that precedent. So yeah, Disney, typically the way this would work is more of a ask for forgiveness rather than permission type of scenario. Now that this has happened, Disney will, and anyone else is probably going to make these changes. But until then, if no one's being the squeaky wheel, they don't get grease. Is that enough metaphors in that one sentence? I think there was like 3 or 4 metaphors in that one sentence.
Was that a Bobby Gucciism you just did there at the end?
Possibly. But I mean, you know what I mean by that. Like, no one is complaining, so we're not going to do anything about it. We're not going to worry about it. We're just going to continue on like everything's normal. Now, someone complained about it. Now we need to make a change.
The things that multi-billion-dollar companies are able to get away with.
Yep.
The rest of us have to think of this stuff ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The phrase "ask for forgiveness, not permission" is something I heard in one of the like big chemical plant documentaries or whatever. That's what they'll do, is like they'll dump their waste and then they'll be like, sorry.
Yeah, that's the place you want to hear that phrase being used.
That's like where they commonly use it. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I feel like this is the outcome we all predicted. We knew that they were going to come to some kind of settlement. It wasn't going to go like to court or anything. It wasn't going to blow up that big. The freaking news media and all that blew it up bigger than it actually was. It was like, hey, Disney and Scarlett, just got to figure some things out. You know, I don't know why I use that hand gesture multiple times, but still.
Got kiss.
They're going to kiss. Yeah. So this is what I expected. It's just we're just gonna figure it out and move on, and that's what happened. Obviously, the details of the settlement haven't been released publicly, not that I've seen anyway. So I don't think they're going to, and I think that's fine. I don't think the public needs details. Yeah, but just knowing that, hey, we worked it out. It's cool. Everybody move on. We're good here.
And very likely this scenario is covered from here on out. So
yeah. I don't like the way like Disney was fronting and like making her look like crap, like at the beginning of that, but at least they came to a settlement. I'm just not huge on the we expected better out of her type mentality. It's like, stop it.
I think that is like a normal like normal defense strategy. Like the very first thing that when someone says like you're being a stupid head, your immediate response is like, no, I'm not. Why are you being a child calling me a stupid head? Like your immediate thing is to defend and then like push it back on them. And I think that's what they did.
It definitely sounded holier than thou to me. Like, oh, you're greedy. It's like Disney, how much do you sell your little things for in that Disney park? Your little corn dogs.
Pot, kettle. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Anyway, let's move on to the next story, guys. It's the main topic. Have y'all seen this? How do we pronounce it? I believe it's supposed to be an acronym, but a lot of people call it IATSE or
IATSE. Yeah.
IATSE. That is this potential strike that's happening with all the below the line workers in Hollywood.
I think we should preface this ahead of time with a couple of things. First of all, we're not movie creators. We haven't made a movie. We've never worked in the movie industry. I may be a background extra in a movie that you'll never see. You'll probably never be able to find me. So whatever. Like basically us participating in anything Schmodown related is as close as we got to doing anything movie related so far. So therefore we're not a part of unions or anything. We don't have like official information. It's just completely speculation because we like movies and we have cameras. That's it. But this is something that's going on. It's the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. Pretty much like you were saying, it's all the people that work in the production side, not so much like the actors. The really short version of this is these people have started noticing that they're working long hours. They're tired. They're not getting the breaks that they should be getting. Production turnaround times are extremely small. They're missing time with their family. And on top of that, they're not being compensated for the amount of time that they are spending. And a lot of that compensation, especially on productions that are for streaming services, the excuses have been, well, this is for streaming. This isn't going to television or for movie theater. So therefore, we're not making as much money as we would if it was going to television or theater. So since we're not making as much money, we're going to pay you less. Mm-hmm. And what happened is because we've been in a pandemic for almost 2 years now, that streaming services have become your primary source of watching entertainment, like movies, TV. It's all been through streaming. Now your streaming is that higher primary unit. It is making a lot more money, and all these workers, they want to be compensated fairly for it, which I completely agree with. So that's the short version of like what's really happened. There's a lot more in depth to it. I don't think we need to necessarily go into those because, I was trying to read about it earlier and just, wow.
I mean, we'll probably like cover over some of that through normal discussion anyway. But I mean, this is something that like I did a little bit of reading up when some of the folks that we follow through, like, you know, the various outlets of Schmodown and you know, everybody,
people we know,
you know, like, you know, Tim has family, obviously it's a part of this. So, you know, it's when those people start like rising up and saying something, and, you know, you start paying attention a little bit and like, okay, what is this about? Let's dig into this a little bit. And I mean, I'll say this, like, I completely support that. You know, who doesn't support people being treated fairly and being compensated fairly at work? Like, otherwise it's just kind of like animalistic and cruel. But, you know, if someone's like working, you know, 12 plus hour days and they're not being compensated or they're not being given like breaks or anything, because I know like the terminology I heard before was streaming is still experimental. We're still trying to figure it out. Well, we're seeing clearly, you know, right now that it's not experimental. It does work. It does make money for the studios. That, okay, maybe now we need to actually start considering any productions that go to streaming the same as a movie or a TV show, and make sure that everybody who's working on that set is being given the time to rest, take the breaks that they need to, being compensated fairly as they should for the jobs they're doing. Yeah, it's totally for like if they decide to actually go on the strike because the studios, it's like the union of studios and whatnot is pushing them to do it. Yeah, go for it.
Streaming services, they can be nominated and win Oscars and Emmys. So
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this last Emmys really solidified the writers feeling validated enough and justified to do this, because it's like, well, if all the streaming shows are winning Emmys, we're winning you Emmys. We're the writers. You have to pay us. Like, we're Emmy award-winning writers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this makes complete sense. Now, what has really happened, a lot of people are reading or hearing about this right now, and you might be hearing them talking about going on strike. And what actually happened, so the IATSE is it's a union, and they just agreed, I believe this past Monday, like an outstanding, overwhelming vote. I don't think, from what I've read, other unions that have voted on whether or not they want to strike, I don't think they've ever had such a big turnout as this one did. This one was like 99% of all people in the union voted to go on strike if their demands are not met. And that's what happened on Monday, is they all met with like the president of the union. President of the union is the one negotiating the terms with the producers for the entertainment industry. And they told the president, we all agree, if you don't get what we want, we all go on strike. So that's what was approved this past Monday. Now we have this president of IATSE talking to the producers. And just basically, if they don't say exactly what he wants to hear, all they have to do is like make a phone call and everyone's on strike. That is an immediate shutdown of like production and everything. Like it all ceases. If y'all remember, for those of y'all, depending on how old you are, back in 2007, we had that writer's strike for kind of like the same reasons that Rory was just saying, that everyone went on strike because they weren't being fairly compensated. Because of that, there were a lot of TV shows like in that season that immediately ceased production. Like I know I was a big fan of this TV show Scrubs. That one season got chopped like in half, and then like what was the finale episode, or what was supposed to be a middle episode, became a finale episode. It was really weird. It threw everything out of whack. There was another show I was interested in that just got canceled because of the strike, and it never came back, and I was really sad about that. But that's what we're looking at potentially here, is this shutdown, this strike could cause some more things to cancel and end. And this is at a time where we're still trying to pull the entertainment industry out of the pandemic. So they're already hurting. This is going to hurt it even more.
Well, and you know that, I mean, I don't know what Netflix and the streaming services themselves have to say about this, but I would imagine they don't want the writers to go on strike because of what you just said, right? Like, they're like, oh, you're not going to be able to give us content? Like, what do you do as a Netflix? Like, if you have Stranger Things coming up or whatever other seasons they're supposed to have coming up, it's like that Game of Thrones show that the trailer just dropped for this week. It's like, y'all better be writing it, because Netflix and HBO and all of them, I'm sure Hulu are not very, Disney Plus, whatever, are not probably very patient when it comes to deadlines. You know, like Marvel, I'm sure like you're like, you got to have it done by March 30th, 2022, because we're going to be putting a trailer out, you know, like whatever date. So I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of pressure on them to to give them, the writers, what they're asking for, so that they don't go on strike, because I think the streaming services would just give them hell for it.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing we're looking at here is, you know, it's whole production shut down for like a bunch of things. We're not just talking about like stuff that's going towards streaming services. We're talking about movies. We're talking about like, I think is TV included in this as well? I want
TV's included, streaming, movies. The one thing I read was saying like really the only one that's not entirely affected is like commercial filming.
Interesting.
So we'll still get ads, y'all. We just won't have any content to watch. We'll just be all sitting around watching ads and singing along with the commercials. We're going to end up like that Demolition Man where like the top hits are all commercial jingles.
Oh gosh.
It'll be like ESPN in the beginning days of the pandemic when they were just like talking about pool games or whatever. Like they were just watching like very like strange sports because they had nothing else to do.
ESPN 8, the Ocho.
So, I mean, this is going to be big. I know like there's a lot of people out there on the internet who, you know, they just don't necessarily understand or get why this is such a big deal and why this is actually a good thing if they have to, you know, flex. I mean, going on strike is not a good thing. You want them to solve the problems without having to do that. But if they have to do that, then, you know, we back them, we support them. There's a bunch of people on the internet who don't necessarily know that. And they're, you know, a lot of people are like, no, I want my next Marvel movie. So everybody just do what you have to do to keep producing the content that I want. And it's like, maybe stop and think for a minute that there's an actual like human element behind this where people are actually, you know, being mistreated and we want to make sure they're being treated right. You know, Marvel waited during the pandemic. We can have them wait a little bit longer to make sure people aren't you know, working way past their breaking point on set.
Yes, everyone will have to watch the Cinefanatics. All the YouTube channels, that's all people will have. All the Twitch shows.
We're the only form of entertainment not going on strike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking at. And so the agreements are that producers are having to renegotiate like production schedules and times and make sure that the crew is adequately compensated, and also let them take breaks, let them have some let them have some downtime. I'm trying to like combine words here. So you don't happen to have like as soon as one production's over, you have to quickly jump over to start production somewhere else again. Let them have some time to enjoy like their lives, their families, and everything. That's one of the major complaints is like when you're on a film crew, you're working potentially like 12-hour days, which it could be like 12 to 14. I mean, if you can imagine like a movie having to film like all day, if anyone in that movie has to do like makeup effects and stuff, like you go back and look at Rebecca Romijn doing X-Men when she was in the full blue Mystique, she was like in makeup. I think when they first started, it said that she was in makeup for like 9 hours. That's more than one whole day that you normally work.
Yeah, like after 3 a.m. and sat there for like till like noon.
Yeah. And then they go and they film for like another 12 hours. So yeah, it's an insane work schedule. It's just pretty much make sure these people get compensated. Now, again, the producers are looking at from the money standpoint of it, like, okay, but this is going to cause our budgets to go up. Do we have to increase the budget, which in some cases we can't do? Or do we need to adjust how people get paid? Do we need to look at like how the timetables are shifted? What do we need to do to start? Yeah.
Streaming services.
We need to budget and plan better for what we're going to be spending for this actual support. So that I believe that's the kind of things that they're talking about. The producers are having to figure this out for themselves, but then they also have to be able to speak upon that and show proof of concept of what they want to do to make changes and show that to the IATSE president. So therefore they don't go on strike.
IATSE.
I like this just because one of the things I've seen before, when you have a job, especially if you're in like one little area where like your coworkers, everyone's just unhappy with the way things are going at work. Like one of the things I've told coworkers before, I was like, look, if we just all tell the boss, we're not going to do this anymore. Stop. They're not necessarily going to let you all go. You do have that strength in numbers. Most of the time when I've suggested this to some people, they're all like, I don't want to be involved in that. Like, okay, whatever. This is what the union and like going on strike is for. It's to help defend everybody. Nice to see that this is an organization that understands that. So they understand that strength in numbers. And you don't have people who are like, well, I don't think it affects me. Like, I hate that.
That's
I do think there's a new mentality of just like being more communal with like workers that are like on your same level. of like not seeing each other as competition. Like I'm so I'm the least competitive person. Like if someone is in like the same job space as me, or like even for graduate school, I was interviewing with a girl for the same spot. Like we were there on the same day interviewing for the same job. And I was like, oh, like, good luck. Like, I hope, you do your best and like whatever. Like, because to me, it's like the best person will always win. I have faith in that. So it's like, I'm not going to push someone else down or like let the competitiveness get to me. So my point is, I do think there's this new rise of energy of people being like, no, we can just come together and like get what we want to get done. Like, let's stop arguing amongst ourselves and saying, oh, like, I don't want to get fired, so I'm not going to do it. Or, oh, like, this is a problem that affects you. It doesn't affect me, so I'm not going to say anything. Like, oh, like, I'm fine with how much they're paying me. So, like, why would I go on strike for you? I do think, or I hope at least, like, that energy is changing to be more like, well, like, I'm going to do this for you now because I hear you. And in the future, if something affects me, I think you'll do it for me. Like, I get that sense of, like, why that vote was so high of, like, 99%. It's like, not all those people are probably affected negatively. I can't imagine 99% of them are sitting there like, oh, I wish I was getting paid more in the same like way. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there are people that are married to someone who makes a ton of money or doesn't have, children that they're worried about getting home to. But like, they're still like, you know what? Like, I'm in it with my fellow workers and like, this needs to happen. So I think it's a good sign of things to come with the vote being that close.
It's going back to what we were saying with the Scarlett Johansson ordeal, that Disney didn't just outright do this on their own. They had to wait till like ScarJo brought a lawsuit against them. Same kind of thing here. These producers aren't doing anything on their own because, let's be honest, that would cost them money and they're not going to do that. They have to wait for this to be brought to them before they make that correction, make the changes that are needed. So hopefully they don't go on strike, but I see this as a huge win for everyone that's involved in this, because I especially with them on the edge of going on strike, I think that's going to have a lot of leverage against the producers to be able to meet the demands and keep everything going. So
Yep. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, both sides have talked about the fact that neither one of them really want a strike to happen, but at the same time, like, we don't want it to happen, but it'll happen if it has to happen. So we'll be keeping an eye on this, guys, and any major developments that happen amongst this, we'll probably mention it on the show in future weeks to come. So that is the Cinefanatics tagline guarantee.
What are we selling, bologna or something? Like what?
I don't know what you sell.
Well, we'll be seeing what you sell on October 19th.
You feel good about that one?
No.
Feel good about that?
No.
I wouldn't either if I were you.
Pepperonis.
Guys,
I mean, okay, we could do pepperoni. Maybe not bologna, but pepperoni's good.
Anyway. That's going to wrap it up for the tagline tonight, guys. If y'all have any other final thoughts, anything you want to say, let us know in the chat. Or, again, streamlabs.com/Cinefanatics.
Streamlabs, maybe?
You can play Streamlabs.
Streamlabs, maybe?
Give us a dollar.
So y'all keep doing that, and I'm going to donate to Streamlabs.
just one?
I mean, I know how to get people to donate. I'm not going to do that.
Oh my god.
So, oh no. Thanks, nerd. Appreciate it.
I'll buy some soup with it.
Let's buy some soup.
Why does everybody keep talking about soup?
Because it's a fall tradition.
It is. Yeah, we are getting into autumn, so soup would be
That's not what I'm talking about. Like, this is the second time in like 2 days that I've heard somebody suggest that I need to go have some soup or something.
You should have some soup.
Amazing.
Apparently, I need to get some soup.
Maybe you should have some soup on October 19th.
I guess. Tori, what are you doing? No, not you too.
He's not going to be able to have soup on October 19th. He's going to be too busy having his ass handed to him.
Look, the game between the two of us will probably be good and close. I'll say that much. Tori, face me in trivia. Face me.
I'll beat you at the Dark Knight.
Oh, does that make you feel better? Do you have to ask the one person who's not a part of the movie trivia? Like, sure, is that what's going to help you feel better and be prepared for our battle?
Go after the baby.
I'm just saying, she was sassing me. I will dish it right back.
Well, I'm glad that you go for the low-hanging fruit, because while you're busy going low-hanging fruit, and I don't mean to call Rory low-hanging fruit here, but
Rory
hold on. You just called her low-hanging fruit. What's up with that?
You're going for the easy mark here when you should be focused on taking on.
You just called her
Big
easy.
Daddy.
What's up with that?
I'm the easy apple. That's just waiting for you to pick it at the apple orchard. I'm fine with that. All right, I'm fine.
Well, this is Tori's last episode.
I'm fine.
It was nice having you here, Tori.
Means I get picked and I get taken home. All right. All the hard fruit. No one goes for that.
Shined.
Well,
I get shined. I get turned into an apple pie. Call it a day.
A Tory a day keeps the doctor away. I don't know.
That is true. Take that as you will.
I guess.
Maybe. I guess so.
We should end the show. Probably.
Oh, Jeremy, that's been the goal this whole time, is for me to just be at the bottom, like.
Yeah.
Concerned.
Who's getting me? I don't know.
Who's gonna be the parent?
Oh gosh. Guys, this is the show. This was Tagline. We appreciate you guys being here. Again, final thoughts, let us know. Real quick, let's do all the plugs and stuff. Remind people what's going on. You guys got a show this weekend, this Saturday, I should say.
We've got a show on Saturday. For those of y'all that are watching with earbuds in, prepare yourself. It's going to be this Saturday is the marquee at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, with guest star William Bibiani. Oh, good Lord. We will be tier ranking Dracula movies, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure y'all come stop by for that. Also, yeah, I know. Huh? What did you say? Huh? I need one of those like horns that come out of your ear. What did you say? Say that again.
Say that again. If I ever got lost in the woods, I'd be fine. I would just make that sound.
Well, between either that or your Venom impression, like I think you'll be found. You'll be safe.
Yeah, all the birds will come and like find me.
Like, you're gonna do the Venom impression like a bear is gonna attack you like the Revenant, and you're gonna be like,
I'll like comment. I'll like the Velociraptors. I'll be like, "Whoa, Blue, whoa."
Yeah, except you're doing your Venom voice instead.
Hardy.
There's a raptor pops up. Hardy. I like how I do it. I talk out of the side of my mouth. Like I'm Stallone or something. Anyway, so also tonight here in roughly about an hour, I will be over on the Fans View channel. We will be doing a watch along of Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 2. So if you've never seen it, or if you want to see it with two people who absolutely love the Nightmare on Elm Street series, come hang out over there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope I'm not over or underselling that. I hope it's like properly sold right there. So
it'll at least be an average amount of fun.
Well, that's all I could at least hope for, if not more. Preferably more. Anyways, so yeah, that's going to be happening.
Yep. And then, guys, as we said before, hop on the Patreon. We got a bunch of stuff going on over there. $1 tier gets you into the Discord. You can do that. You can hop in the $5. That's where you get watch-alongs. Normally, we would do the Fcl Replay, where we do some behind-the-scenes on our matches. That one, this upcoming match that we've got coming up, we're not going to go into it. That will be public at first. You got it. You got an opportunity to watch it live with us for free. Otherwise, you got to jump in to the Patreon once the live stream is over. Join us at that $5 tier, and you'll get access to it later on. The $25 tier, we're doing the trivia hangouts. That is where you come hang out with us and quiz us and help us get ready and study up for the matches coming up. So that is also available on the Patreon. So pick that tier that you like best.
We need a lot of people to jump on that, because Doofus over here is going to need as much help as he can get. So
now you're just embarrassing yourself.
I'm not the one who's losing that match.
I'm not the one using doofus. Poor Tori has no idea what to do right now.
I was hoping
that's because Tori's not a part of this. Rory is here.
That can be in the promo.
Yeah, this is getting clipped out, and it's just leg.
Nerd Chronic is just like,
nope. I'll never use that clip ever.
3 years from now in the Schmodown Spectacular Championship.
Yeah. Random leg. Why was there a leg in the promo? Who cares? Why are you asking questions? There's a leg in the promo. Just go with it.
Just go with it.
Just okay. Just all right.
Seriously, y'all.
Anyways, guys, other things, you can follow us. You know where to follow us at all the places at Cinefanatics MLP on Twitter and Instagram. For me specifically, you can find me at Chris Addams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and as well as twitch.tv/Chris Addams MLP, which right now I'm pretty much streaming every Tuesday. We'll not be streaming the Tuesday of the 19th because other reasons, but otherwise you
probably should though.
Oh
you probably should. You'd probably be more successful just streaming that day.
God, yes. So I normally stream on Tuesdays. That's where you can find me over there. I do want to stream more, but that remains to be seen how the schedule works out. This month is nuts. So Tuesdays are probably the only time you're going to find me. This plug is kind of really trailing. Tori, where can they find you?
Tori X Rose on Twitter and Instagram and your dreams. I always want this to like hook around and it doesn't do it. Yeah. Catch me on the marquee this Saturday with Robert. Doing the Dracula. I'm not going to scream. I'm not going to say his name. And then I'm also doing an upcoming show with Sabrina Ramirez. So follow her on Twitter for details. I'll also tweet about it. We're going to be talking about Midsommar officially. So I love story times about Midsommar. I don't know why I'm turning into like a beauty vlogger. I'm going to talk all the tea about Midsommar and Florence Pugh. It'll be fun. So yeah.
You can do like video, Drew, and just start putting your makeup on every time we do a live stream. Just make up.
Just doing
while we're live.
I think Steph Sabra does that. She has like this is like her length of hair.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand. Like this is so much. It's so
drama.
Drama.
Yeah. You've got a fan that is yes, Tori, do that.
Do that.
Anyways, you can follow me, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd at Robert Addams MLP. That's where I do things.
That's where he does the things, guys.
That's where I do the things.
Follow him doing the things. Anyways, we appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. We got Marquee on Saturday. We do have some reviews coming up this week, or at least one review coming up this week. We got No Time to Die. Gonna go check that out tomorrow. So that review should hopefully be up on Friday for you. And then after that, we are seeing Lamb, but that review is probably actually going to be on the Tagline next week. So definitely come back for that because your boy is actually going out for a horror movie. He's actually going to go see Lamb, and I have no idea if I'm going to be into this or not. Oh, God. What am I getting into? Yes, I am going to go see Lamb. Tori's excited.
Oh, like a lamb to the slaughter.
That's probably God. Is that phrase is exactly what the movie's about, isn't it? Oh no.
Probably. I have no idea. That movie looks bonkers. Anyways.
Yeah. But anyway, that's coming up. So stay tuned, guys. Appreciate you guys being here. We'll catch you guys next time. We don't have any real like sign off phrase, so I'm just gonna go ahead and where's the thing? Where's the thing? Yeah, that thing. That's what I'm looking for.